Cranking up the radio, I drive the half-mile to Midland High. All I get is some lame soft rock station from Tulsa, but it feels good to numb out even if it's just for a few minutes. I park in the back of the lot, last one in, first one out. That probably says a lot about my personality. Tyler Neely, on the other hand, parks front row, center. He's the biggest dick at school, or at least he thinks he has the biggest dick. He's got this beautiful '66 Mustang, and he had to ruin it by painting bright yellow racing stripes down the middle. As soon as I cut the engine, Tyler looks back at me as if on cue. Normally, I'd turn away, pretend not to notice, but I'm sick of his shit. I hold his stare. If he had anything to do with that calf, I want him to know he didn't get to me. Ben says something to him, probably some stupid joke, and when Tyler finally looks away, I let out a huge burst of pent-up air. It's the strangest crew. Ben Gilman's a good guy, decent tight end, but dumber than a bucket of gravel. Tammy Perry's one of those girls you'd be hard-pressed to notice. Never in trouble, hardly makes a peep. Beige clothes, beige hair, beige freckles. The girl practically screams oatmeal. Less oatmeal but still no prize is Jimmy Dugan. I swear he's scared of his own shadow. One time a bird flew into the window of our 5th grade math class and he pissed his pants, like a river of pee. And then there's Ollie Miller. It's complicated. I watch her cross the parking lot to Tyler's car, legs for days. She has this way about her, I mean, she's so far above all these hicks, and she doesn't even know it. I've known her since Sunday school, hell, probably since I was born. I don't remember anything without her. Catching crawdads in Harmon Lake, turtle races, riding our bikes all over the county. One time we found $10 on the side of Route 17 and bought a whole mess of penny candy from Merritt's gas station. Just a bunch of stale baby teeth bait, but when we tossed it onto people's front steps, we felt like Santa in the middle of summer. We talked about saving the world, or at least saving ourselves. I try not to go there, but I can't help thinking about the last time Ollie came to see me. It was right after the funeral. She sat on the edge of my bed and cried. "Promise you won't forget me," she whispered. To this day, I have no idea what she was talking about, or why she was crying. Maybe she was just trying to say goodbye and I was too stupid to notice. All I wanted to do was wipe the tears off her cheeks and maybe hold her and tell her it was going to be okay, but the smell of her skin, the softness of her long dark brown hair, the feel of her body pressing against me was more than I could bear. I leaned in and kissed her. Her lips were so warm and wet. She took in a tiny gasp of air, and when I went in for another kiss, she started crying even harder and ran out of the house. I wanted to tell her I was caught up in the grief, plead temporary insanity, but the truth was I really just loved her. I think I've always loved her. She hasn't spoken to me since. Tyler snatches the red hoodie tied around Ali's waist and smacks her ass with it. She shoots him a lopsided grin as she grabs it back from him and pulls it on over her faded tan shoulders. I wonder if he even notices her shoulders, that constellation of freckles on the right one. That's the arm she was always hanging out of her mom's Cadillac when they delivered Avon around town. The only thing they have in common is they're the eldest sons and daughters of the founders of our glorious Preservation Society, the 6 families who rode in together and settled this county in the 1889 land rush. The Neelis, the Gilmans, the Perrys, the Millers, the Dugans, and yours truly, the Tates. I guess it's about as close to royalty as this town will ever get. It wouldn't have been so weird if they'd all been friends before, but it seemed like as soon as my dad died, as soon as they stepped up to take their seats on the council, they suddenly became inseparable. I'd never admit this to anyone, but sometimes I envy them, their freedom, their wide-open futures. It feels like my fate was sealed the moment my dad walked toward the cattle ranch holding that crucifix. Murder in Midland. That's what the news people called it. Real catchy. At first, I kept waiting for the council to reach out to me, offer condolences or something. Anything. But no one said a word to me. Not a single word. And Tyler was more than happy to step into my shoes in every way possible. I thought it was only a matter of time before Ollie figured out what a tool he was, but I guess I was wrong. She used to make fun of the Preservation Society just as much as I did. Sometimes when I look at her like this, surrounded by sycophants and assholes, it feels like I never knew her at all. Like I never knew any of them. Like I don't even exist. As I open my door, my cousin Dale jumps in front of my truck. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it, he sings obnoxiously as he swivels his hips in front of me. 3 freshman girls walk by, giggling their heads off. I slide out of my truck. You shouldn't do that. Ever. Come on, loosen up, cuz. They love it, don'tcha ladies. He shakes his hips again, and they all look back and laugh. I hate to break it to you, but it's never gonna happen. They don't call 'em freshies for nothing. For all they know, I could be the coolest guy at school. They call them freshies because they're 14-year-old girls, not because they're stupid. And Jess is going to be one of them next year, so lay off. Don't be such an old man. He punches me in the shoulder. Hang out with me tonight. Can't, last harvest, I say as I hoist my backpack up on my shoulder. Besides, all you're going to do is park up at the Quick Trip and holler at girls all night from the back of your pickup. I've got it all figured out. You need to catch 'em when they're feeling all vulnerable, on a late-night ice cream run in sweats and no makeup. You tell them they look beautiful and they're yours. You're an idiot, I say as we make our way across the lot. Or I'm a genius. Fine line, my friend. It was a lot easier to get girls to talk to me when you were QB. All I had to do was drop your name, tell 'em we're cousins. Second cousins. Whatever. Some pep girls run by, and Dale elbows me. Big game tomorrow. Oh yeah. I act like I don't know it's the biggest game of the season. Homecoming. I should have never stepped on that field last year. My dad wasn't even in the ground yet. I'd like to say I did it for him, or coach, or the team, but the truth was I did it for me. And look where that got me. He's a shit quarterback, Dale mutters as we edge around Tyler's car. Everybody knows the only reason he's starting is 'cause his old man paid for the new stadium. If you love football so much, maybe you should play. Please. They wouldn't even know what to do with this much power. Dale clenches his fist, trying to make a bicep appear, but it's no use. Dale was born with a tiny hole in his heart. Can't play sports. Doc's orders. Hey, has anyone started raising cattle around here? I ask as casually as possible. Why? Are those jerks still mooing at you? Dale bristles. What? No. I don't know. I was just curious. Wait, who was mooing at me? No cattle, dude. He tries to play it off, but he looks concerned. If something's going on, you'd tell me, right? Sure. Course, man. I manage my best. I'm not going crazy, smile. Dale wanders off after some girl in a low-cut top. I swear, he's got the attention span of a cicada in heat. As I wait for him at the top of the steps, I look out over the lot, my gaze immediately drawn back to Ollie. She's gathering her hair over her shoulder when I notice a mark on the nape of her neck. It isn't anything pretty like angel wings or a butterfly. It looks like the same thing Tyler has on his inner wrist. An upside-down U with 2 dots above and below. The harder I look at it, the more disgusted I get. It doesn't make any sense. Ollie's too squeamish for that. I had to hold her hand when they pricked her finger in 7th grade for blood testing in science class. And this isn't any tattoo. It looks hardcore, like some kind of prison tattoo. Or a brand. Tyler moves into my line of sight, staring right at me as he pulls Ollie's hair away from her neck, like he wants to give me a better view. A blistering rage pulses through my entire body. In a panic, I rush into school. My chest feels tight, my eyes blurry as I barrel through a group of students. I don't know where I'm going, all I know is I need to get away. I slam into the emergency exit door at the end of the hall, triggering the alarm. I scream as loud as I can over the piercing wail. Why would she let him do that to her? Mark her like fucking cattle.